Hello everybody. So I get a lot of questions on my main channel about Japan and Japanese and lots of different things, and on Tumblr and stuff like that, but the thing is that only one person gets to see that response, or maybe like 10. So I thought I would just do a short series of videos on this channel answering your questions about Japan. So that means leave your question below, and the most popular questions I will make a video about. So today's video is one of my most frequently asked questions, which is, how did you learn Japanese? And it's gonna get a little bit long, so hang in there. First of all, my Japanese is not perfect. It is functional, but it isn't perfect. It isn't like super amazing, and I'm still learning. So yeah. Secondly, I self-studied Japanese. So I studied by myself, and I don't think that's the most efficient way to study a language necessarily. It depends on how you learn, but I definitely think that being in a classroom situation with that kind of pressure cooker thing where you have to memorize things for tests and you have to speak in class and all that kind of stuff really helps when you're learning a language. So look up your local language classes, and if there aren't any, well, stick with me because I'll tell you how I self-studied Japanese. First thing you gotta do is learn kana, hiragana and katakana. Just get down and dirty and learn those beasts quickly because you need to. I once knew someone who had lived in Japan for a year and still hadn't finished learning katakana, and that's just no. You only need a week to learn them, trust me. You could learn them in a day actually. It's rote memorization, memorize it, learn how to write it, you're done. Okay. I know that sounded a little bit crazy, but no, I'm serious. Learn hiragana and katakana. And now we're going to go on to my favorite Japanese textbook. The best textbook for learning Japanese in my humble opinion. And it is slightly academically slanted. The structure is very, very structured, which I really like. But if you learn a different way from me, you might not like it so much. And it is Genki. So this is the second one. The first one is Red, and you can find it on Amazon, and I will put a link down below. You can buy it with a workbook and a CD, and I've never really used the CD, but I think that would be really beneficial if you're learning by yourself. Now this book I entirely self-studied, and it has amazing structure. Like I just said, you get a list of vocabulary and you have to memorize it because all the chapters integrate the vocabulary as you go on. So it's a great way to motivate you to actually memorize. Okay, I'm dropping things left, right, and center here. But anyways, it has the vocabulary section. It has grammar, pages of grammar, explains it really well in English. And then, okay, more stuff I used to practice on. And then it has tons of practice, speaking challenges. And for each lesson at the back here, there is a list of kanji. And even if you don't have a teacher in a class or a friend to study with or a language exchange partner, I think you can learn so much from this textbook alone. Obviously start with the red one if you are a beginner. And then move on to Genki 2 if you enjoy the red one. It can get a little bit pricey overseas. But if you have a friend who's going to Japan or a friend in Japan, it's only 3,000 yen, which is actually quite cheap, I think, for this kind of book. I think I paid like $90 for it in New Zealand, so yay. Not yay for that price, but yeah. The only downside is you don't have a teacher to check if your answers are right or wrong. You really have to self-check, and you can, accidentally learn things wrong. There's also Mina no Nihongo, which is another series of beginner textbooks and advanced and intermediate textbooks, I think. I've never really used it, but tons of universities use it, I think. And so there's that, if you don't like the style of the Genki textbook. Okay, my recommendations if you've finished Genki 2 is so much harder to find like really solid study books. So what I did when I finished Genki 2 was I went on to these books. I did Sankyu first, and then I got the Nikkyu ones after I memorized everything in the Sankyu ones, but there is kind of a bit of overlap, so just choose which one looks good for your level. And These are really good for reinforcing stuff like kanji. It helped me with my kanji and reinforcing your grammar. It has grammar, reading, kanji, and also vocabulary. These are pretty good. I'll put a link down below. The drill is really noisy. I'm really sorry about that, but I have to keep going. So, Japanese books, manga, magazines, English books in Japanese, Japanese movies, stuff like that are all great. Supplement your learning. That's so freaking loud. Okay, I'm back. It was noisy. I came back. So the last step is immersion, which you can achieve by coming to Japan, or you can do it by surrounding yourself with Japanese things, Japanese music, Japanese cartoons, Japanese dramas, Japanese movies, Japanese people, and Japanese stuff. And you can change your computer to Japanese, and you can speak to yourself in Japanese, and you can record a vlog in Japanese. In fact, if you want to try that, do your Jiko Shokai or self-introduction and post it as a video response to this video, and we can all be Japanesey. No. And the last thing is using the internet as a learning tool. And I put this last for a reason, because even though you can learn some pretty cool Japanese from the internet, and you can definitely immerse yourself in Japanese and practice your Japanese on the internet, it is definitely not the only thing you should be doing. It's just like an additional thing that you can do to supplement your learning. I've heard of people Skyping with Japanese people, meeting on Twitter, and there's loads of Japanese people who want to learn English, so you can do like a language exchange. There's a website called Lang8 where people can correct your journal entries. YouTube has tons of Japanesey videos, tons. You could probably spend hours and hours and days, and it would probably take you like years to watch them all. Just be careful, because I know and you know how addictive the internet is, and it will trick you into thinking you're studying when really you're not. Because yeah, you might be able to pick up a few things from a YouTube video or a website, but it's probably not going to be as much as you would pick up if you just sat down for 10 minutes a day and studied. And that's the last point. I made 3 last points, sorry. The last point is just do a little bit a day and don't feel discouraged. What I used to do is study in my lunch breaks, so I would carry around my textbooks, and any chance I had, if I had downtime or anything, any chance I had to study, I would use it. And it really helped me, so maybe that will help you unless you don't work. So So you guys in the comments section, please leave your suggestions and your language learning tips. And also leave your requests and thumb up the ones that you like the sound of, and I will probably do them for you. Yay! Bye! Wow, it went really blurry. But bye. And yeah, I just look like Boxy.